Yo, what's going on, Epic 7? I'm Sue, and this is my beginner's guide to challenge mode Abyss Floor 2. Floor 2 will have you facing off against one of my favorite characters in Karin. In order to get the 3-star clear on this stage, you need to inflict Karin with weakness, and you also need to clear it without using any ice elemental heroes. That's no blue heroes. The core mechanic of the fight is this passive here, Pursuit. You inflict weakness on Karin when you hit her a 4th time, as long as she has 6 or more debuffs. Sounds simple, but in practice, it's actually quite difficult. You see, Karin is immune to a lot of different debuffs, which means getting 6 unique debuffs on her and hitting her 4 times, not super simple, especially when we talk about the rest of the moves that are in her kit, as well as the adds that accompany her. The best way to get 6 debuffs on this character is to use a non-unique debuff, something that's stackable, like Poison. Unfortunately, she is immune to it. That leaves you with Burn and Bleed as the only real stackable debuff options, and those come with their own separate challenges that we'll talk about in a second. Karin's other component of the Pursuit passive increases her combat radius by 12% at the end of each of your turns, which means that she moves blazing fast and thus cycles out of debuffs very quickly. On top of that, she has Blade Art Flash, which gives her an extra turn, basically getting rid of 2 turns worth of debuffs off of her. And Blade Art Thunder also dispels 2 debuffs from her. She is also accompanied by 2 Ocean Seeds, which CR push her and dispel 2 debuffs off of her. If you tried to spend all of your time focusing and killing the seeds first, Karin gains a stackable attack buff every turn. Her damage will reach a point where it will eventually start one-shotting characters. You could technically still stun or sleep these if you want, but it wasn't really working out for me, especially considering the number of debuffs that I needed to keep on the character. I couldn't do it without a specific dual attacker like Camilla, which is why I'm playing the team that you see on your screen. Now, speaking of teams, let's revisit this Burn versus Bleed thing here. So Burn is obviously going to be very, very good for this fight. The problem is that most Burn characters are red versus a bunch of blue opponents, which means that you have a 50-50 chance, a coin flips chance, every time you want to try to land a Burn on Karin. That's really obnoxious. The characters that are not red that burn, most of them are Moonlight characters, like Silverblade Araminta, who is a Moonlight 5-star, and I'm not going to recommend that for a beginner's guide. And then there's also Suthan, who is a 3-star Moonlight character that isn't connection-based. So I'm not going to try to recommend him either. I don't want to recommend non-connection Moonlight characters like Camilla or Commander Lorena whenever possible. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably eyeing the Tempest Cern on your screen. That's fine. We'll get to that, why she's there, in just a second. Now, that means that if you look at the Bleed section, it's probably going to be a fair bit easier. And that's because, well, they have, pretty easily accessible characters like Sigret that are fantastic for the mechanics of this fight, right? She is blue, therefore you're not at an elemental disadvantage. She has a bunch of stackable debuffs in Bleed. She has Unhealable, which makes things easier. She has an extra attack, which again makes things easier. And she just does a ton of damage. Everyone has access to her. Sigret, on paper, is the perfect character for this. Unfortunately, as you can see there, it says clear without an ice elemental hero. Well, if you remember in the first video, I talked about how the mechanics of challenge mode Abyss are a bit different. For most of you watching this video, the easiest way to clear this floor is to use Tamarin, Raz, Camilla, and then Sigret in the 4th slot. And then beat it, get your 2-star win, pick up your rewards, and then go and do it again, completely ignoring the mechanics of the fight, and just burst down Karin with any non-blue DPS of your choice. That is the easiest way for you to pick up all 3 stars, and it's what I highly recommend most people watching this do. That said, if you want to do all 3 stars in one go, that's what this team is here for in the video. Just assume that if you are following along with my actual fight guide, that Sigret is going to be Tempest Cern if you are just going to do it in 2 parts. Got it? Good. Let's talk about who we're playing and why. First up, Adventurer Raz, still the best tank even in challenge mode Abyss. I don't know why you wouldn't have him built or constructed for this mode. Aureus as the artifact here, health percentage on the necklace and ring, boots our speed, effectiveness at 35% or higher for this fight. Main reason we're using him, obviously, is Command Strike, because essentially it pulls your Segret or your Tempest Cern, give you more chances at getting bleeds. Camilla is very much the same thing. You're playing her because she is a second copy of Raz and his Command Strike. Artifacts here, I have Daydream Joker. It doesn't really matter what you play here. You can play pretty much anything you want. Boots should be speed. As for Ring, it could be health percentage or attack percentage. And your necklace here, it could be health percentage, critical hit chance percentage, or critical hit damage percentage. If you could build crit damage on this character, it will be a bit easier to kind of go through it very, very quickly. Maybe if your RNG doesn't go your way, you could still jump back into the fight and still have much faster runs than me playing it on a very bulky version of the character. Should have 35% or more effectiveness. Tamarin is our healer. You can play whatever you want here. As long as it's not Angelica or Angelic Montmorency, as long as it's not a blue Soul Weaver, any Soul Weaver works fine here. Magical Scholar Doris, if you have her, right? I'll just scroll down and show you, right? This character, 3-star if you have her. She has debuffs on her S1 and is a competent healer. You can absolutely play her if you want to. Play any Soul Weaver you want. Stats really don't matter too much for this. Wondrous Potion Vial, here is the artifact. Health percentage as the necklace and the ring. Boots are speed. And then finally here, our bleed character is Tempest Cern. But like I've been saying, the easiest way to do this absolutely would be to just play Segret. The only stats that really matter here are having over 35% effectiveness, 100 crit chance, and good attack and critical hit damage. I'm doing this with a level 50 Tempest Cern with 4 Malagaras and Lunge. You don't need this. This just reduces the RNG, so that way I could kind of, you know, get this video kind of done and move on to the next one and not have to sit here and wait for hours to get the perfect configuration of RNG. Don't feel like you have to spend the Malagaras, by the way. Again, that option to use Segret is still open. Only play Tempest Cern if you're just doing it as a matter of pride. You want to get all 3 stars in one run. Alabastron is the artifact because, again, it just reduces the RNG, and I don't have to sit here for like 6 hours until I get perfect RNG on my debuffs. Again, it just helps minimize it. Play whatever you want, right? Exclusive equipment doesn't really matter. You can play whatever you want. As for the actual kind of right side gear here, critical hit damage necklace, attack percentage on the ring, and boots are speed. Remember, effectiveness at over 35%. Cool. Now that you understand why you should probably be playing Segret and not Tempest Cern for this fight, let's actually jump into it.
Should we get
All
started?
right, so at the start with Raz, what I like to do is I like to Command Strike, because if I get the defense break and proc the bleeds, I'm pretty far ahead.
I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so we're already at 5. Fish for a duel.
Stay calm and think rationally.
All right,
Let me demonstrate.
there's 1, 2. All right, so they cleanse down to 5.
Leave it to me.
3.
All right, let's do this. Fine flame.
2 S3 for the souls.
I'm scared.
Fish for a duel. Don't get it.
Cut your throat. Now.
Yes.
There's 5. Sadly, we're going to cycle out of it.
Exterminating.
Should we get started?
All right, so now we're kind of like in like maintenance mode here, I think. Yeah, you have to S3 here, because if not, if they get these 2 cleanses off, like it's all, you're not going to have any setup. None of it's going to matter.
The flowers are withering. You can't close your eyes. Yep.
All right, so next turn, Karin's going to cleanse again.
Drive them out.
There's 4.
I'll protect you.
All right, so again, there's not really a reason, I think, to go for this, because she's just going to cleanse it no matter what I do. So I'm just going to S1. So that gets cleansed. That would have cleansed.
Beginning. I'm ready.
All right, so now we try, since everything, all the cooldowns are down, this is the window to go for actually trying to pick up 6 bleeds. There's 2.
I'm scared. Go away.
I'll cut your throat. Prepare for the next attack. Stay calm.
We burn this. That gives us a guaranteed third. 4.
If
Alright, I have to go for this.
Take this.
There's 5.
Leave it to me.
There's 6.
I
Alright, so we basically have it at this point.
faint.
So you just go idle mode here.
To my song.
And then you see our push over. And then this attack here from Camilla should be our last one.
Opening.
And as you can see, there's the weakness. It's a lot of RNG, right? This is probably like my 5th or 6th try,
All right, let's do
right,
this.
in order to get this actually to line up correctly. But yeah, you just have to be persistent, keep trying. You'll eventually get it. This is one of the worst, I think, challenge mode floors. And at this point, all we really have to do is just kind of hit Karin until she's dead. Nothing else really matters. Once you get that 6 debuff, you've already know you've cleared it. Just don't die, and it's a free win.
Should we get started?
Alright, we can soul burn Roz here.
You've got a long way to go, kid.
I'm ready.
Alright, we can S3 here.
Until the end. I'll do my best.
S2 for the CR push and the heal.
I'll protect you.
S3 for the defense buff.
Can stop me.
Stay calm and think rationally. Now.
Hit here.
Beginning. Leave it to me. You can't.
Alright, we'll
close
hit
your
here.
Gale storm begin.
All right. let's
Soul
do
burn
this.
here.
Hope you're ready.
Yes.
I'll cut your throat. Drive them out.
I will fight them. I'm scared.
Alright, S3 to save Roz.
Away. Exterminating.
Should we get started?
Alright, soul burn here.
Yes. Sword.
Oof.
You've got a long way to go. We'll take you down one by one.
S2 here.
Calm and think rationally.
I'm ready. I
We can idle here. Karin racing up the CR bar there.
If I must fight,
Soul burn here.
won't be an easy fight.
And then she dies to bleeds. And there you have it. Challenge Mode Abyss Floor 2 in a nutshell. This one in particular is not very fun, I will admit. It kind of sucks because you just kind of have to get lucky and hope that your bleeds or your burns proc. Again, please use Sigret. I think that she is significantly easier to clear with than a character like Tempest Cern. If you have other suggestions for other players for this floor, let them know down in the comment section below. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I'll see you all in Abyss Challenge Mode Floor 3. Later now.